Hi there, Summoners! GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. And tonight we are getting the next special heroes that are dropping into the game, the next seasonals in just a couple of days. So, got the silhouettes pulled up here, the little tease of who the units are going to be. And it is most likely going to be a bridal banner, I'm thinking, unless they change it up this year. So if that's the case, I think that prevailing theories on the left there is Flavia, based on the hair and how it's situated. On the right, that could be Anna, one of the variants of Anna that are currently out there. I suppose it could be La Rochelle. I think that's probably on the table. So I'm going to have the trailer pulled up. We're going to go ahead and watch it together raw for the first time, react to the reveals, all that good stuff, have some fun with it, and then take a closer look at the units themselves and evaluate the banner as a whole. All right, let's get this show on the road and get this trailer playing. All right. So who have you got for us? What brides to be sharing their blessings. It's harmonious music. Special heroes to battle. To battle? Oh, that is definitely... Look at that smile. Look at that smile. Secret Charmer, Anna. Really, it's a very clean art, beautiful look. Elegant design. Heartbroker bow. That's actually really clever. Like Heartbreaker, but she's a broker, you know. Alright, is that sorry, Righteous Blade? I like the fur on the trim on the and it has sort of this like Asian inspiration to the sleeves and the composition of the dress. Really nice. So she is going to be a flying lancer. Chonsin Sprig, Life and Death 4, Rain Snap. We're getting a variation of the rain skills. Accept my love. Alright. It goes all there, and hey, alright. So, Bold Bride. We're right on those silhouettes.
I'd be the strongest wife there is, protecting both my husband and
so statuesque. Flavia looks fantastic. She is going to be... So she's going to be the 4-star hero then, right? Yeah. Bridal Blade Plus. Interesting. So then the duo is going to be Tiki. Like Bridal Reflections. That's a double Tiki. I heard you like Tiki, so we put Tiki in your Tiki. Okay. I don't know. I guess that's okay. I don't really have a problem with it per se. Okay. I mean, I'm first of all, I'm thrilled for more adult Tiki representation, because I think like I don't really have an issue with the whole like backpack thing, but I do like the fact that like adult Tiki is like the frontmost character here, just because she deserves more spotlight, I think, in general. That art is gorgeous. That art is really gorgeous, I have to say. Just that glittering, shimmering glory. Really fantastic stuff. And then the harmonized skill. We'll take a closer look at all this stuff, of course. But yeah, right on the money then, in terms of the guesses and the theming.
Where shall we go?
Where shall we go? So, super tanky. They are going to be a colorless dragon. Tank that hit. Special art. To happiness. Armored flow. Okay. I love the finger by the mouth too for Anna. So, Paralogue Story, Bridal Dreams. So much detailing in that Tiki art. Really, really pretty stuff. Is that Robin? As the freebie character? It looked a heck of a lot like Robin there. I don't know if it was, but it certainly looked like it. And then, of course, the Feh Pass. Spark is available for seasonal units, as we know is the case. Actually, let's take a look at the map, because I think I saw... I mean, that does look like Robin, right? As a cavalry unit up there. So, we could be getting a Groom Robin. Interesting. Huh. I mean, we did just get Fallen Crom And we did, of course, get Robin in the Forging Bonds making an appearance, or Grima making an appearance in the Forging Bonds. So, yeah, we've a lot of awakening. And Robin getting a groom variation here as well. So that's great. Yeah, Flavia is going to be the 4-star focus unit. Even color distribution across. We've got the 19th of May, and then going for an entire month, we're getting Bridal Dreams as the special heroes for this particular banner. At first blush, I think art-wise, they all look pretty stunning. They all look stunning in their fancy dresses. I think some people might lament with Tiki the fact that, like, we can't get an adult Tiki without baby Tiki tagging along. I could definitely see people like memeing about that or being angry about that. I mean, I think it's cute. I think there are not many characters that you can kind of work around that and make that happen. And I think it's okay. Again, I think the art for every single one of them is actually quite gorgeous. I'm probably the least attached to Sairi of the bunch as far as characters go, but again, that notwithstanding, I think they all look really nice. So let's rewind. Let's take a closer look at these characters, their kits, what they're coming at us with, what skills they're bringing to the table to evaluate the banner as a whole. So we've got Secret Charmer Anna here. Always happy to see another Anna alt, and it's a very sleek-looking dress. It really emphasizes her femininity, I think. And then you do have the signature flared out wings or feathers on the hips, but they don't actually extend all the way around like you ordinarily see, I think, in like the Awakening Bride dresses and things like that. You have red and gold trim around as well, which looks really, really nice on her. And then you have some golden accessories and trinkets hanging off of her hips. The dress itself tapers down and then flares out at the bottom with this little ridge design. It's very, very fetching. And then the bow itself, pretty simple, almost like a Cupid look with the wings and then a little stuffed bear right there too. And then she has kind of her signature look with the finger kind of pointed at her lips a little bit. So Anna's got that Heart Broker bow, 14 might, enables Kanto Ally 2. Okay, alright. Accelerate special trigger, so killer slaying effect, effective against flying foes, initiates against combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants all stats plus X. And X is 5 plus the number of times the unit has been enhanced using Dragon Flowers, max 10. So I think that is a very fitting flavor for Anna, right? We've seen that condition before, where the more you invest into the unit, the more bonuses they get, and who better to encompass that than Anna? Like, the more you funnel into her funds-wise or money-wise, the more payoff you get, right? So at a base minimum, she gets +5 to all of her stats, which is, that's no slouch. But then as you're enhancing with Dragon Flowers, she gets an actual max of 10. So as long as she has 5 Dragon Flowers on her, which is really not bad, then she's getting +10 to all of her stats, which is quite solid. Deals damage equal to 15% of unit speed, so she's going to be pretty speedy. Including when dealing damage with a special, triggered before combat, and neutralizes effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks during combat. Okay, so I forgot what Kanto Ally 2 is, so I had to look it up here. So, Kanto Ally 2, after an attack, assist, or structured destruction. So after any action that Anna takes, unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 2 spaces. Okay. Alright, so it's a little teleportation, and she has to have an ally within 2 spaces at the end of her action. She is a cavalry unit, so they have a tendency to overextend, so sometimes they're not going to be in the range of another character within 2 spaces. So just, that is something to be mindful of, I suppose. Luna for the special, Remote Sparrow for the A slot, getting a little bit of damage reduction in there. Sealed Defense for the B slot. Okay, not too shabby at all. Guaranteeing herself effectively a significant amount of defense debuffs, either in combat or activated on the enemy. And then Colorless Feud 3. Alright, so she's got a lot of great premium skills in here. She doesn't bring any new skills to the table, other than her weapon, which is exclusively hers. But even the gimmick of her weapon is something that we've seen before with the whole Dragonflower investment. But that's still good, and everything she has is solid. She's going to play the role of being an offensive archer. She is a color bow, which I think I always feel as though color bows and color dagger units tend to have I think a little bit less utility in terms of just doing omni damage when compared to like their colorless variants, but there's definitely uses for them. And then of course she has colorless feud 3, so she is going to be prepared to take on those colleagues of hers with the colorless bows. But yeah, everything she has effectively situates herself to double unhindered, do flat damage, get a host of bonuses to herself in terms of offensive power, and then to the extent that she's going to be counterattacked, enjoy some damage reduction, proc her special, and then Kanto to safety afterwards. So again, nothing new here that we haven't seen before, but she is going to fulfill that role well. And next up we have Righteous Bride. Righteous Bride Sairi. And she is going to be a flying lancer. So that bouquet of, I believe, sakura branches there is going to be her weapon as a lance. And I really do like how overall you can feel the Asian influence in the dress. I think it's pretty evident, and obviously it's very fitting for her too. The golden ornaments again have sort of an Asian inflection in design. Beautiful glossy hair. There's this soft shading to the entire dress too, gives it almost this creamy softness, and with the sakura petals fluttering down, just does make this a very picturesque scene. I think it looks really nice. All right, so Sairi is wielding the Chonsen Sprig, so that's that branch. 16 might, killer slaying effect. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 space of an ally, grants +5 to all stats. Inflicts penalty on foes, speed and defense equal to 25% of foes' attack at the start of combat, -8. Max 10, min 0. Reduces damage from foes' first attack by 40%. Grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack during combat. Alright, so that is sort of an interesting penalty calculation there. So it scales off of the enemy's attack stat. So it's 25% of the enemy's attack stat -8. So that is the in-combat debuff on the enemy's speed and defense. So that's effectively going to allow her to do more damage against the enemy and double with more consistency. Now, the actual calculation here, 25% of foes' attack at start of combat -8. We're in the phase of the game right now where it is pretty common to have 60 attack visible for a lot of units out there, and in that instance you would pretty easily reach the 10, the maximum of 10 debuff to speed and defense. So because if you're looking at 60, 25% of that, and then -8, you're looking at a pretty nice amount there. So okay, that's interesting. Draconic Aura for the special, Life and Death 4 for the A slot. So she is going to have some pretty nice visible stats. And then Speed Defense Rain Snap. So new C slot skill, presumably flyer exclusive. Inflicts Speed Defense -4 on foes within 2 spaces of unit during combat. So that already covers Speed Defense Rain as it is. And then at start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an armored ally or infantry ally with range equal to 1, so a melee infantry or armored unit, grants unit can move 1 extra space to unit infantry allies with range equal to 1 within 2 spaces of unit and armored units within 2 spaces of unit. That turn only does not stack. Effect triggers, but no single damage. Okay, all right. I was hoping for more. I mean, obviously that works, and obviously I'm biased. I'm very biased because I love flyers. I love Flyer Emblem. I like Flyer Synergy. The mixed teams, I think, have their value and are interesting in their own right, but they're just not my favorite. And so, giving the secondary effect to really only work in the context of teams in which you've got this flyer paired with armored and infantry units doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot for me personally. But that being said, it's definitely a potent thing. I'm granting an extra space as part of the rain ability is quite nice, and that does fall in line with, I think, what flyers are centered around, which is granting additional mobility to themselves and their allies. I think her kit overall is pretty good. The Rain Snap skill is interesting. The Chonsen Sprig has some nice effects going in there. The damage reduction, the special charge, the stat boosts. I do kind of get the feel that like the actual in-combat debuff to speed and defense is a calculation that's kind of needlessly convoluted, because at the end of the day, it's just a maximum of 10 and a minimum of 0. So, like, I mean, the fact that it's scaling off of the enemy's attack isn't... I feel like it's not that significant, just because the majority of units that you're going to be facing out there are probably going to have enough attack where you're going to, almost maximize the debuff that you're going to be... that would be in effect here. And then the raid snap has some interesting implications. So we got bold bride Flavia,
Be the strongest wife there is.
and she looks really elegant. Love how she exudes that confidence. She has her hip popped and has the one hand kind of up in this no-nonsense fashion. I do love the asymmetry to the dress. I think it's really stylish. You have the sash that goes around the side, and then you also have these sort of ribbons of blue and red. You have feathers stretching around the one side of the skirt, and also on each side of the long arm gloves that she's wearing. She's brandishing that blade, but of course it's sort of hidden under the silk and the satin and the flowers and everything else that's attached to the little ribbon that's on her weapon itself. And then you have the sequence of golden jewelry and the really serious boots that she has going on there. You can't really see it too well because the text is blocking it, but you can kind of see how they kind of go up her calf, and they are very strappy, almost armored in a way. Again, I think like falling back to her roots and her heritage and her homeland. And then, of course, her gorgeous, darker complexion contrasting beautifully with the silky whiteness of the dress just really comes together nicely, and those flashes of color just work very, very well. Now, Flavia is going to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner, and she is going to be a sword cavalry unit. So Bridal Blade Plus is going to be inheritable. It's 14 might. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 space of an ally, grants +4 to all stats, inflicts penalty on foes stats equal to current bonus on each of foes stats ×2 during combat. That's actually pretty interesting as far as inheritable blades go. It's, I think, general purpose for sure with the easy condition and the stat boost, and then having that added effect where you can effectively neutralize an enemy's activated buffs and play it against them, an effect that we've seen a lot more recently, into an inheritable weapon is pretty darn good. The reality is that these days, as far as inheritable weapons are concerned, because we have rearms now, everything else kind of like falls to mediocrity, just as a necessity, because if the rearmed heroes' weapons don't supersede the other inheritable weapons, then what's the point, right? It's always an uphill battle to impress, unfortunately. It might look really nice though. I always like the little sprites and the actual little weapons on the sprites. That might be worth the inheritance alone. Harsh Command Plus, Attack Defense Clash 3, and Rouse Attack Speed 3. So some really good stepping stone skills, actually. Attack Defense Clash 3 would be great to inherit just so that you can get Clash 4 from another unit in addition to another set of skills. Rouse Attack Speed 3 as well. Not bad for a C-slot skill. Harsh Command Plus has its uses. Not as universal of a skill, but definitely has its value. So overall, I think she's got an okay kit. It's not bad. Again, she's the 4-star focus, so she's not really gonna blossom and shine in the skill department here, but she is going to be an easy merge, and it does look like, based upon her kit, that she is going to be geared towards attack, defense, and speed, so offensive capability, and kind of shooting in and doing some damage. Alright, so here we have Bridal Reflections. This is going to be the Tiki's. Young Tiki's face looks a little odd there, actually. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just with how open and honest her smile is here. Maybe it's like a little bit of the sausage mouth effect that we had with Legendary Tiki way back when she first came out, and people called it that. But it's quite cute. I mean, seeing them together like this is really precious, I feel, and the art is really gorgeous. I mean, there's just so much detailing in their hair. Look at the glossy shine, the different shades of green between the young Tiki and the adult Tiki here. They're reflective of each other. They mirror each other, not only in pose, but also in sort of their outfit composition too, the colors that they're wearing. And it really just kind of like extravagantly teases out, how similar they are and sort of the progression of one to the other, I suppose. Beautiful patterning in the dress itself. feathers coming off on the side there with young Tiki, and then with the adult Tiki version, she's going to have these sort of layered ribbons and silk cloth hanging off of her sleeve. You've got the red ribbons as well. Again, just lots of beautiful detailing, and adult Tiki just looks absolutely terrific. She looks gorgeous as a bride. Young Tiki, obviously, way too young to be a bride. I'm viewing her effectively as like a ring girl here, more or less. And then they're both kind of carrying this bouquet that's radiant and gorgeous. The fact that it does have these colors that aren't represented elsewhere with the purples and the blues, I think really pull it together. And the fact that it is like a bouquet with a dragonstone is kind of a cool effect too. I do like how they went with that. So they are going to be a colorless dragon armored unit, and let's take a look at their actual kit. So thankfully they spared us from scrolling today. They didn't do any scrolling of the actual kit, so that was a nice surprise. Twin Divine Stone, 16 might, has a killer slaying effect, effective against dragon foes, so all very much in line with Tiki. At start of combat, if unit's HP is 25% or more, grants +5 to all stats during combat and restores 7 HP to unit after combat. And also, if unit's res is greater than foe's res, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack and reduces damage from attacks during combat and from AoE specials by percentage equal to the difference between stats times 4, max 40%. If unit's HP is greater than 25% at start of combat, unit's res is greater than foe's res +5 during combat, and foe's attacks can trigger foe's special. Inflicts special cooldown count +1 on foe. Foe cannot exceed foe's maximum special cooldown count. If unit's HP is greater than 25% at start of combat and unit's res is greater than foe's res +5 during combat, that's important. And foe's attack can trigger foe's special. Okay, so they have their special ready. Inflict special cooldown count +1 on foe. Cannot exceed foe's maximum special cooldown count, and grant special cooldown count -1 to unit before foe's first attack, and then adaptive damage. So that's starting to effectively become like Tiki's thing. So having a dragonstone that's effective against dragons, that's kind of a Tiki thing. And then the other thing is this whole element of actually kind of rewinding a person's special when they're attacking if they have it fully ready to and charged. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Killer slaying effect, stat boost, healing, guaranteed follow-up attack, damage reduction, and then furthermore there's again that whole basically negating somebody's special when they're attacking and then at the same time her getting additional special charge and then adaptive damage. And these are all things we're very familiar with, all things that we've had to deal with, and all things that I think kind of encapsulate, Tiki in a nutshell. Now, Armored Flow, this is going to be a new special, and it looks like it's going to be inheritable, probably an armored special. It says armored in it. Boost special damage by 40% of unit's res. If foe's range equals to 2, and unit or foe's special is ready or triggered before or during this combat, reduces damage from foe's next attack by 40%. Okay, so this is interestingly specific. So the 40% of unit's res on a 3-turn cooldown, that's obviously going to hit very, very hard. But the other element to it only affects ranged units, which is sort of interesting. And then as long as there's a special ready, whether it be their special or her special, she passively gets another 40% damage reduction. I mean, you can't really be too mad about that as an armored unit. You want that damage reduction stacking. You want to hear those dings, so that's going to help you accomplish that. Mirror Stance 3 for the A slot, that's certainly going to help with her damage capability and tanking capability, that ding, ding, ding. As well as inflicting guard on the enemy, which is also, again, going to be quite nice because that actually does pair and synergize very well with the fact that she does rewind the enemy special when they're attacking into her. New Divinity for the B slot, again, something that is very Tiki. This has been a Tiki kind of year, I guess, in a lot of ways. We've gotten a lot of Tikis this year, and then a lot of things that have been kind of exclusive to her. So let's take another look at it. So this effectively is just going to stack with Twin Divine Stone and multiply the effect. So it's The conditions are the same. That's why it pairs so well and the synergy works so well, because it's very easy to remember what the condition is, because it's just a 25% HP threshold. And then she gets all of these advantages and then double the damage reduction, also with the armored flow damage reduction. And she has attack res far save 3 for the C slot. So now, unless my eyes deceive me, there is one thing that this unit wants that is not a part of their kit as you're going through this, and that is namely distant counter. There is no native distant counter built into any of her kit, which means that she is built to use the distant counter seal that's meant for dragons. So she's basically custom built to use that. Maybe their duo skill also gives it to them. We're going to take a look at that, of course. But at least right now, she doesn't have a distant counter built in anywhere. And she really is built around it. Again, she's a far save unit. Armored flow only works against ranged units. So once again, or at least like the passive effect of armored flow doesn't work, only works against ranged units. So that's an interesting choice. It's an interesting choice to make her kind of reliant on using that seal. Or I guess you could always replace Mirror Stance 3. You don't need Mirror Stance 3. You could easily swap that out for a distant counter variation. So you have that flexibility too. You absolutely could do that. So the Harmonized skill is going to be Grant Resonant Shields, and neutralizes foes' bonuses during combat. Really? Alright, and neutralizes units' penalties during combat to unit and allies from the same titles as unit for 1 turn. Okay, alright. That's not bad. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not the most exciting harmonized skill. I feel like it doesn't add like an entire dimension to her or anything as a unit. Resonant Shields is quite nice, adding those defensive stats, and then of course negating the enemy's ability to follow up attack is quite strong. And then the neutralizing of bonuses and then the neutralizing of penalties for her is very good. I mean, and her allies, of course, is quite nice, just because it gets rid of surprises. It gets rid of a lot of surprises out there in terms of activated buffs that you have to worry about, or any debuffs on her, and it just kind of flatly removes them. And that kind of purge, it can be quite useful. So, okay, again. That particular duo skill doesn't like blow me away, but it's deceptive in how useful it is. Because then again, it is going to give a whole heck of a lot of value in terms of the defensive capability and tanking ability. So Parallel Story, Bridal Dreams, that is going to be the banner as a whole. Some really interesting stuff there. I am very curious about how Robin is going to shape up too, if that is in fact Robin over there. So. Once again, on the 19th of May and going for an entire month, even color distribution. I mean, I think as far as a value proposition goes, I don't think there's anything in here that's like a must-have. Even as far as new skill capabilities are concerned, nothing like blows me away. The Tiki is going to be very strong. She just has like everything baked in that's made variations of Tiki really good until now, and she's got all that stuff going for her, and even stacking in a number of ways. That's going to be quite good. So they are going to be, I think, the prize of the banner. I would probably put Anna as next. Again, I think Anna has just I really like that Dragonflower effect. I also just like Anna. So like I think that whole Dragonflower effect is pretty neat, and I think her archetype is always going to be useful in terms of being a cavalry archer. Sairi, I think, is naturally next, and she has some good stuff. Has a lot of premium skills to her name, and then the whole new class of C slot skill for flyers is going to work really well for hybrid teams. And then you got Flavia, who looks gorgeous. Her kit is okay, but again, she's a 4-star focus unit. She's really meant to merge. So if you do want to have a +10 project going on, or use her skills as a stepping stone to be able to inherit tier 4 skills from other units, that's really the value that you're going to find there. For me personally, I'm a little torn. I part of me wants to summon on this banner, because again, I like the units on it. Part of me also just wants to save, because again, I think that there's nobody on here that I absolutely need, and there's no skills here that I absolutely need either. But at the same time, I like the units, so I don't know. I mean, that's enough, right? I mean, liking the units is enough to summon. I don't know. I got to think about it a little bit more. I've got cold feet, right? I've got cold feet. We'll see. But yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the new bridal banner, and if the selection strikes your fancy, what you think about the duo unit. There's probably going to be people. There's going to be people, I think, a little bit miffed about the duo unit. Not only is it like adult Tiki can't have her day in the sun or day in the spotlight without like little Tiki tagging along, and then also the fact that there's even little Tiki here in like a bride theme. But that notwithstanding, again, I just consider her to be like, you know, the ring bearer or whatever. But yeah, let me know what you think. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.